And I always tell people this is it took about 6 weeks, but there was a lot of assumptions going into the game before the 6 weeks thing. So we had made a bunch of first-person shooters before. We had made a bunch of games with avatars and first-person shooters, and we had made the original CastleMiner game, which took longer than that. I think 3 or 4 months, and that we had been working and updating and polishing the original CastleMiner game. So CastleMiner Z was kind of a skin on the original CastleMiner game, so we pulled in a lot of the assets from the first-person shooters that we were making, and we used obviously the CastleMiner engine to start with, and we did sort of a skin, and I think the whole thing came together in 6 weeks. I remember the story is that we had done CastleMiner, and it did really well on Xbox, and our John came to me and said, what are we going to do next? And I said, zombies. Like it's going to be zombie survival. And we were one of the first, I would argue we were the first open world zombie survival horror game ever. It was in 2011 when we were doing this. So somebody said here, this gem was made in 6 weeks. So that's the very first CastleMiner game was not the one that you're used to playing. So we did 10 years of updates and then updates after that, after we released the game. So we were doing updates. We worked on the game consistently for like almost a year and a half afterwards, doing updates every few weeks. And then we updated for 10 years. And at one point we had another company updating. So the version that you're seeing now is not the version that shipped initially. But the initial CastleMiner game was basically like 6 weeks. And I think this is a really good story for just game development in general, is that you want to start with like your core idea, small and simple, and then get it out there. And then once it's out there and people can give feedback on it, then you start to grow it from that point on. And we were always engaged with the community, and we always listened to them. So my idea for the game, I said originally, was sort of like a 3D Terraria, and I kind of got like the basic stuff in there that I needed to start building my like 3D Terraria game. And then everybody wanted all this stuff, and we kind of just like went and did the thing. And eventually the dragons went in, and we had dragon endurance, and people kind of loved what was going on, and we just kind of went with what the community wanted.